All right, everyone, welcome to another episode of the Founder Fit podcast. I can't believe we are already up to episode number 8. And today we're going to dive into an amazing subject. It is mindset versus tactics and why psychology wins when strategy fails. Now, this is like a conversation that we are having all the time. And you know what Founder Fit is truly based on? It's about your psychology. Because as entrepreneurs, as business owners, we have been there. We have tried so many tactics, so many strategies. We have implemented this with so many other people and businesses. But time and time again, the tactic does not fail. The strategy doesn't fail. They've proven. But what we do see is the psychology of the person will fail first. And, you know, so if you are in business, if you are struggling, if you can't break through, if you're wondering why, and you're searching for another book, you know, another strategy, you're getting another mentor, and you're still having the same result. And the reality is you can answer that question now. Are you still stuck? Are you still in the same position? And if you are, there's a good chance it's not another strategy that you need, it's your psychology. And today we are going to talk about this. We are going to break it down. Plus, we're going to give you a lot of actionable steps, things that you can take away from today, right? And start to implement this to change your psychology. So before I kick it over to the guy to my left, Scott Lewis, I am Damian Votta, and we are here to help you, right? Improve your mental fitness for business. So you're in the right place at the right time. So I'll kick it over to the man over here.
Amazing. Thank you, sir. All right, very exciting episode. They all are, but this one, of course, is going to be a really poignant and extremely important one. Why? Because you asked the question, what do most people focus on? Do they focus on developing their mindset, or do they focus on their skills, the new marketing system, the new sales system, the new hire? And we both know the answer to that. And I'm guilty of this. We focus way more on the strategy and the skill than we do on the mindset. The problem is, the biggest challenge is that we all want to build $1 million business, maybe a $10 million business, maybe $100 million, maybe $1 billion now. Billion seems to be the what everyone's achieving now. You've just got to start an energy drink now, or a nootropic, or a supplement, and you're a billionaire. Jokes aside, we all want the big business. We all want the glory. We all want all the benefits that come with the business. Yeah, agree? We all do. The challenge is that we want the $1 million business, but we don't have the $1 million mindset. And think about that for a second. If you really self-reflect, if you really check in, you know, what are your habits like? What is your self-talk like? You know, is it $1 million self-talk? Do you get up in the morning and you're right, let's fucking get it. Let's go after it. Let's do this. I don't care what happens. I've got bombs going off everywhere. I got this challenge with the government. I got this challenge with an employee. My sales system isn't working. My marketing's not getting a return right now. I've got no leads coming in. Fuck it. Let's go. Let's do this. It doesn't matter. I'll figure it out. I'll break through. Or, from my experience, most people are getting up, snoozing their alarm, scrolling through social media, eventually sitting down at their cluttered desk and telling themselves that they don't know where to start or they don't know what to do. Just ask yourself, which one are you? Honestly, be honest with yourself. So what this podcast is about, and what we're going to be doing over, this, I guess, the span of this podcast, is that we as coaches, we've got 30 years between us in coaching individuals, groups, mums and dads, CEOs, and multi-million-dollar entrepreneurs, including myself. I have come from nothing. I've come from the average family in the suburbs of Melbourne, Victoria, Australia, for some of you that know where that is. And I've been able to build multiple multi-million-dollar businesses. And the biggest shift that changed all of that, from going from literally a traditional sort of suburb kid to being able to build these businesses, was not skill set. It was absolutely mindset. And it started with that belief, and it compounded into a relentless mindset of discipline and massive amount of action no matter what was going on in my life at that time. So again, today, and what this podcast is about us as coaches bringing you the truth around the 80% mindset game. The skill set is still important, but you cannot put the horse before the cart. You cannot put the skills before the mindset. It will end badly. And you either know that or you're about to learn that, because I've certainly learned that myself. I thought early days, I'm just going to go after it. I'm just going to do it. And I'm going to hire this person. I'm going to implement this strategy. And ultimately, if it's not backed up by the right psychology, it will crack and then it will break.
Boom. Super powerful. So what we're going to do is we're going to just dive straight into it. Like what Scott said, we want to coach you and we want to help you right here, right now, actually take some action, right, to change this, right, to change your mindset. Okay, now when we're talking about mindset, what is the biggest shift? Because we all like, yes, we get it, mindset. You know, do I watch a motivational video? Do I get pumped up? Motivation will come and go. So what we need to look at, and what the true shift is we need to look at your identity, because that idea of how you see yourself, right, is then how you will go and you'll start to take action. And that's the mindset part. The 80% is actually changing your identity. And Scott made a really good point, is we get into business for the upside, right? Making money, living life on your terms, time freedom, all the rest of it. But if that's what we attach to, right? Like that's the hard thing to achieve. And that's where very few people truly get that. But we need to attach to the person you're becoming, that identity. Because truly, if you don't fall in love with that person, if you don't see yourself and change that identity as a business owner, entrepreneur, someone who succeeds, that's why you're going to keep staying stuck, because you're not becoming the person who then is deserving of that success. So we've got to look at identity alignment, okay? So how do you see yourself? So you got to define, your goals, and then you must define who that person needs to be in order to achieve that goal. I've been, health coach over 18 years, and it's the exact same principle that I look at even with people who want to lose weight. If they still say to themselves that I'm overweight, I'm not healthy, I don't know how to eat good food, if they don't see themselves as someone who is in shape or fit or becoming that version, right, they stay stuck, they stay overweight. And I've coached hundreds of these people that have lost the weight, but then they have put the weight back on because their identity didn't shift. So how many business owners have we also dealt with that have had amazing months, amazing years, made the money, and then lost it all again because, again, their identity didn't come with it. So the true secret here is you've got to change your identity, how you believe yourself. Now, this comes from writing down your goals, writing, like journaling, right? It's auditing your language. Like, what do you say to yourself? Do you say, I'm broke, I don't have much money, I'm trying to figure it out? This is all the language of someone who is stuck, right? Versus I am successful right now. I am learning every day. I am progressing every day. We have to change that language as well. So we start to, see who we need to become. We start to create language that is in line with that version. We start to really tell ourselves, right? We start to be delusional, right? And this is such a key point, is you have to just, not see any other option other than success in front of you. And then you would just start to condition your mind. This point here is something that I've been doing a lot lately as well. So we've got a point here as well, visual execution. How many of us have tasks and things we need to do throughout the week, throughout the month, but we visualize it going badly? We visualize the pain of doing it. We visualize a bad outcome. We visualize the sale not happening. We visualize the business not making money. And it's so crazy that we can, visualize a negative outcome or not the outcome we're looking for. And, this might even sound crazy, but if you really do think about it, how many times are you thinking about, the work you got ahead of you? Maybe you got some sales calls to make and various things, but you're not visualizing the best outcome. So before you go and do your task and complete work you got to do, take a moment to visualize what you have to do, but then more importantly, visualize the outcome, and that will reinforce the identity you believe in yourself as well.
100%. Visualization is so key because to create anything, to create this microphone, this water bottle, you have to imagine it, first of all, yes, to be true, but also what's the outcome? I mean, how do you create a microphone if you don't imagine it first? Completely impossible. So, such a good point. Moving on to self-doubt. This is massive. So we all know self-doubt is massive. And the unfortunate thing is we're actually talking about it before this pod, weren't we? Because I have 2 young children and the goal is to breed confident children, to raise confident children. Because I know in my early years, a lot of the mistakes that I made, a lot of them, if not all of them, were due to a lack of self-confidence or self-doubt or ultimately insecurities, right? I'm not this, I'm not good at this, I don't have this, I don't look like this. And ultimately, the challenge with self-doubt is that you not only think it, you not only believe it, but the way reality works is that you then bring it into your material world. For example, I'm not good at technology. Well, if that is the doubt that you have, if that is the insecurity that you have, then what are the chances of you adapting to the AI landscape that we're in right now? Not only that, I mean, this is the new landscape. We've been in the technological age now for 10, 20 years. You know, what opportunities have you missed because I'm not good with technology? I mean, what's your social media look like right now? What's your operations, your digital operations like right now? Like, what opportunities are you missing out in terms of systemization and scale because you're not good with technology? And ultimately, technology is a skill. So within the laws of reality, you can learn that skill. If you have a functioning brain, you don't need Steve Jobs, Elon Musk, Bill Gates IQ levels. Absolutely not. We're not. I'm sure I'll speak for myself. Maybe you're capable. I'm sure you are very capable of playing at their level. But I will speak for myself. I'm no genius. I don't have some astronomical IQ level, but I'm able to make millions of dollars because I simply just learn the skills that others have laid before me to make millions of dollars. But the only way I'm able to do that is by removing the self-doubt that I'm not good with technology. I don't like technology. I'm not good at sales. I'm not confident in selling. I don't know social media. I don't understand social. I don't like Instagram. And all of those beliefs, 1000% hold you back from the action that's required to build the business that you desire. And ultimately, this is a mindset game. It's not a skill shortage. It's absolutely not. Could you download Instagram, study it for 2 days, use ChatGPT or AI to create a marketing plan, and then execute on exactly what the AI tells you to do through your phone or laptop? Of course you could. You know this. You know you can. But you've got a set of limiting beliefs. You've got a set of things that you tell yourself consciously or unconsciously every single day, which stops you from taking the action that you know that you need to take, that you know will get you the results that you're looking for. And again, I'm not looking to build a multi-billion, trillion-dollar business. And that's where, again, that's a whole another level. We're just talking about having a system that can provide you a quality lifestyle within the environment that you're looking to achieve. For example, you're a coach, you're an early stage entrepreneur, you're a business owner. But again, we're not saying we had this conversation. There's businesses and businesses. There's Apple and then there's Founder Fit. You can't compare the two. So ultimately, guys, what you need to do is, first of all, know thyself. What are you building? Are you building an Apple or are you building a 10-person team? Because you need to know that first. And then secondly, the thing that you need to do is you need to self-audit those self-beliefs. You need to write those down. And I would start with 3. What are your top 3 limiting beliefs? Now, how can you then turn those around? From the examples that I gave before, I'm not good with technology. You need to turn that around to I can learn any technology that is required to grow my business. This is your task for today. If you do not do this, you will not move forward. It's as simple as that.
That's it. It's telling you straight. Now, when it comes, everything that Scott just said then, and if you're listening, it makes sense. It makes too much sense. And then the reality is, it's like, why don't a lot of us just take that action? It's because it's simple. If, let's remove the self-doubt. Let's, add more, positive language, positive affirmations, really reinforce that. But what is the thing that will stuff all that up for us, right? And it's our emotions, right? We're human. God had a sense of humor, gave us these emotions, right? And this is the difference between why some people can go and take the same skills, the same strategies, the same advice. One goes and makes millions of dollars, one stays broke. And it's their emotional regulation. Okay, so it is so important. What I'm about to share with you now is going to help reinforce everything Scott just said, because we have to focus on getting you into the right state to do so. Because if you are low energy, you're woken up feeling groggy, a bit sad, your body language, if you're tired, what does that look like? What does a tired person look like? So maybe your actual physiology, the way you're moving, everything about your state, we need to raise, and we need to get it into a peak state. And this is going to help regulate your emotions. And then now it's going to allow you to take that action. Because again, there's no rocket science here, no rocket science, right? But if we don't learn to master your emotions, this is where, you're just not going to be able to use this and break through with it. All right, so let's look at state management, okay? What are some things we can do in the morning? Now, get out and exercise. That's the benefit of exercise. It is not just to get a six pack, right? It is to get blood flow, get oxygen around you, change your state, get the oxygen into the brain so you can start making better decisions, right? Other things you can do, breath work, cold exposure. You would have seen lots of people doing ice water therapy and all that. This is a great way to just raise your state first thing in the morning. And doing it in the morning is also the best time, having a really good morning routine so that you can go and execute at a high level through the rest of the day. Another thing that we can do to regulate these emotions is conditioning your mindset. What does that look like? Okay, journaling, meditating, doing gratitude in the morning. This behavior and this habit, right, is so simple. And there's saying it's like what is easy to do is easy not to do, right? But this is a habit of the most successful people. So if you're not taking a moment to write down your thoughts, right, because sometimes we just might be in an emotional loop where we're feeling bad, we're feeling like there's nothing exciting going on. But once you write down some things you're grateful for, what you got going on today, maybe the wins that you had yesterday, you start to pick yourself up because you're taking yourself out of just the normal emotional loop, and you're raising your emotions again to a higher standard. So all of this has to do with regulating your emotions. So when it comes to emotional regulation, we've got to understand, and this is like the ultimate thing to understand, is everything is good and bad. Everything is equal positive, equal negative. So we always got to see both sides of the coin. So this isn't just saying everything is great, there is no downside. But if we don't see both sides of the coin, if we can't see the good and the bad, then that means we're actually acting out of emotion, not logic. So when we can regulate our emotions, then we can be more logical with our thinking. And in that state and in that thought process, you will make better actions that have a lot more, impact towards your outcomes.
100%. You absolutely cannot move forward if you do not regulate those emotions. It just, they will completely get in the way of the logical process that is required to break through anything in life and business. Awesome. So, and that ties in perfectly to what my next point is. And the next point is, when you fix the operator, every system improves. Now, what that means is first of all, step one is absolutely, you need to do what Damian is saying. If the emotions are present, you can't make the right decision consistently. We've actually spoken about this on another podcast, so just watch them all, and you'll be better for it. And it's not as if we don't repeat, because a lot of this stuff is actually quite basic, and that's the beauty of what we are doing and talking about. It's not like we come up with all these new concepts every day. They're not even our concepts. This is information, and this is tested information from the greats. Like they say, there's nothing new under the sun, right? Aristotle was talking about this 2,000 years ago in Greece. So what that essentially means is when you fix the operator, every system improves. When you start to believe that you can obtain the skills necessary, you will then go out and obtain those skills. Now, when you obtain those skills and then you apply them, well, the operation naturally has to improve. If you bring a bit better skill set to a problem, you will improve that problem in a more effective and efficient way. The challenge is how do you get to the place where you are improving on those skills? And like we've just literally covered, is that you must start with the fundamentals of the mindset first. So if you put what we keep saying is if you focus on the cart before the horse, and again, this is why we say this over and over and over again, is because most people, I would say, and I'm just kind of thinking, is it 80%? Is it 90%? I would genuinely say that 95%, if not higher, of entrepreneurs, including me when I first started, because I just didn't know this stuff, I thought it was all skill. I thought it was all, okay, I've got to get really good at selling. And that is absolutely a key component, of course. But if you do not have the mindset to go in and face rejection before you start selling, then naturally, what are you going to do when you start getting rejected when you start selling? Right? Guilty? I think everyone's guilty of that. Like, just think about that for a moment. If you go into a sales course and you learn all the matching and mirroring and sales tactics and how to close objections and all the skill, but inevitably you are going to face rejection. And again, if you're in business, you already know this. And again, if you are in business and you've experienced this, my question to you is, how do you respond to rejection? Do you get back up and say, okay, great, I'm now 4 or 5 people, less that are going to say no? Or do you say, no one wants this product? Or the deeper insecurity is, I can't actually handle being told no, so I'm going to avoid this altogether, which again is the ultimate. There's 2 parts to this. You're one or the other. You're either you make up an excuse that things don't work because you've been rejected 4 times, or you have so much insecurity built up or undealt with, however you want to look at it, that you actually won't even face the rejection at all, and you will completely avoid it. So you decide where you're at. But rather than now going to say, okay, I need a sales coach or I need to read another sales book, you need to focus on what I said at the start, is you need to fix the operator first. You need to put the cart before the horse. And again, what does that mean? That means you need to work on your mindset, on the insecurities, before you go and work with the sales trainer, before you work on the skill or get the skill. Why? Because if you can't handle rejection, it doesn't matter how many closes you know or have practiced. I hope that makes sense, right? So the most important thing that you can do is work on that emotional insecurity first. And then, like I said, what that will then reverberate into is the rest of your business. You will start to build self-confidence and belief, where it's like, okay, this technology is frustrating and I don't understand it right now. But again, because you've worked on the mindset, on the insecurities, on the discipline, on the ability to do tough things even when you don't want to, you will naturally break through the rejection. You will break through the frustration of the technology. I hope this is making sense. So step 1, recognize that you don't have a skill shortage. You have insecurities. Step 2, work on the insecurities first solve those, then work on the skills.
Big time. So what we found a fit, what are we doing right here on this podcast is, again, we're bringing you the information. We're coaching you right now. There is so much information we just dumped today that can really progress you. But Found a Fit, why are we here and what do we do? We actually work with people just like yourself to really dive deep into this mindset problem, right? And we tackle it head on, and we change your identity, we change your beliefs, and ultimately we fix that mindset component. So here at Found a Fit, we actually run a 28-day identity challenge, right? Which is designed to take you through 28 days, 28 modules, right? They're nothing, they're not super long. They're all very bite-sized because they're very action-based. We design in a way that we don't overwhelm people, but what we do is we fix people's mindset. And what is typical once we do that is all their limitations, all their limiting beliefs, we break through, and then we find these people just break through and in their business, and they go on to succeed like they've never done before. So if you're wanting to get into the trenches with us and let us help you, we have the links in the description below. You can just get onto that. You can book in a call with me. We can have a chat to make sure that we're right for you and you're right for this opportunity. But again, if you've been stuck, and how do you know if you qualify for this? You've been in the same spot for far too long. And if anything that we spoke about today resonates with you, if not now, then when is a good time to start taking action is, what I would say to you. So we're here to help, we're here to serve. And because we've been in your shoes, that's the reality. We are doing this because we've been there. The things that we teach, the things that we talk about today, we have applied, and that's why we know it works. And this is why we know these are the things that once you get, your business will never be the same again, which is crazy. So you can find that description down below, get involved, get on a call with us, and let's take some action to, get you through to the next level.
For sure. Entrepreneurs, founders, remember this. It is not the smartest that wins. It is the most mentally conditioned that wins over the long term. So you decide today, are you going to keep trying to double down on your skills, on reading books about sales and marketing and getting the next new hack and getting the next new social media hack or whatever it is? And again, not that they're not important, but again, 20% of the game. It is the horse. You need the horse, but you have to put the cart first or it doesn't work. It is the most mentally conditioned that win over the long term. So make the decision today. What are you going to do about it?
Boom. So that's it for today's episode, guys. Take some action, book your call below, and we'll see you on the next episode of the podcast.